Yo, 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 yo. We live, boys.
Hello there. Welcome
Hello.
to the 10th episode of the Metabreakers Podcast, starring your boy DmoneyGames. We got DracoCatt per usual. We got the Warshack per usual. But then we have a special guest today. He is from Scotland. Okay. He got to Legend in 3.5 days with a free-to-play rogue deck. He's been making a wave on Twitch, on Hearthstone. He's been killing it. He's going into Masters tours every other weekend. You know, we got the LiquidOx here. We got LiquidOx with us today.
Hello. What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Welcome. Yeah.
Excited
Thanks,
to see
glad
what
to have you.
happens. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens and talk about Hearthstone. I can do that.
You're doing master tours every weekend? Did you,
No.
you qualify for a couple?
I've qualified for Sweden, which is in like 2 weeks,
Okay.
and I have to start doing try hard prep for that and playing every other day, like hours, trying to figure out my lineup basically. But
Did you qualify with the top 16? You finished
Yeah.
it, right? Okay.
I finished top 16 in February and played way too many games of Rogue. Like, I don't want to see Galakron ever again. That was
You're still playing Rogue though, right? Isn't that what you're playing pretty frequently?
you gotta love Rogue. Like, I must have played so many games that month when I went for the top 16. Like, so many games, especially near the end of the month, and I still can play Rogue. Like, gotta love it.
So, to get qualified, I'm not really familiar or as familiar with it as maybe you or DMoney. So, you have to end the month in Legend at top 16, and then that automatically qualifies you a spot into the Masters Tour?
Correct. So you have to finish top 16 in
Mhm.
top 16 Europe, Asia, or America,
Mhm.
or high roll one of these like 10-round best of 3 cups where you have to
Mhm.
win 10 rounds in a row with best of 3. Then you qualify or get 5 top 8s at these tournaments, which is also even harder than everything else. It's brutal.
Okay, and why did you choose a ladder instead of like a tournament? Did you think that'd be easier, or was that like, what was your kind of mindset behind that?
I qualified accidentally. Like, I was just playing ladder like I do. I think I was like streaming about ladder most of the month and just like chilling, playing ladder. And then it got to like, I don't know, maybe like 28th, 29th of the month. And I was like, wait, I'm actually kind of close. What if we just fully try hard it? And like, I must have played 14 hours on the last day of the month. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm so close now. We're not stopping until we get it. And then I slept a lot on the 1st of March.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was a crazy good feeling. And it was so weird because I was like so excited because I was going to go to Sweden. I was going to meet all these people I'd like practiced with. And like, no one in my family or anything understood anything that was going on or anything. I'm like,
Yeah.
just walked downstairs that day, like, I'm going to Sweden. And they're like, what?
And does Blizzard and stuff pay for you to go there and everything, or do you have to actually buy the flight and then they pay for like a hotel? Do you know, like, does that work
so just for qualifying, like even if just for going, even if you don't win like any matches, I think you get $850,
Mhm.
which is towards flights and like accommodation and stuff. So it depends where you're from, whether that breaks you even.
Mhm.
And then if you do better, obviously you make more money. But since this is getting played online now, I still get the money, but I don't have to pay for flights and accommodation.
Oh,
So-
okay.
And that's only
Well,
if I
super
lose every game.
fantastic. Well,
More money if you
congrats,
win more
dude.
games.
Well, congrats, dude.
That's
It's
the
super
point.
cool, dude.
Yeah, I know for me, like you're talking about your parents like don't even like acknowledge like what's going on, but like I feel that same thing. Even though I didn't qualify for Masters, like when I go to like a family gathering or something, and like I feel like I have like this really I feel like it's really cool like that I'm a streamer and like that I'm like a competitive Hearthstone player, and
Yeah.
like then I like bring it up to like somebody in my family and they're like, it's like they don't care like at all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, oh, that's
exactly.
cool, and it's like, yeah,
Like,
that's it.
you play video
No.
games for like, you should have seen the surprise on my parents' face the first time like Twitch paid me, and like you can actually make money playing video games. Like, mind blown, because like their video games are just Pong, right? And they're like, you can't make money playing Pong. And
with
now
that
like,
attitude.
yeah, no, with that attitude. And now that like I'm going places and like traveling to another like to basically across the continent, or I could have if there wasn't a global pandemic, like kind of blows their mind, and like they just like don't acknowledge that it's a big deal.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
my
once
parents are the same
they
way.
see the paycheck, then they get it.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, yeah, nice to have you on. And do we want to get into the meta here? Yes.
Yeah. Let's. I already had it pulled up. So Hunter reigns supreme still, and then Shaman is doing great as well. You know, hanging out at the bottom. So
What was that?
Was Hunter Supreme last week?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Demon Hunter was still number 1, but I think Hunter. Demon Hunter was number 1, but Hunter was number 2, right behind it. They were actually tied at the top. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they were both at the exact same percentile. So Hunter got better.
Or Demon Hunter.
Yes. So this is also the first. This is the first episode of the podcast since the changes have went through the buffs and the nerfs, the burfs as I like to call them now. So we do see a little bit changing here. What do you guys think about the meta here? I'll start with Draco here. What are we thinking?
I think it feels better now than it did before the nerfs. I think I see more of a variety on ladder than I have in the entire Ashes of Outland expansion now. A lot of it's very interesting too because there's a huge prevalence of control and aggro, but the aggro is pretty much just Demon Hunter. I mean, I don't think there's another list that has like a I'm gonna kill you before you can react like game plan right now other than Tempo Demon Hunter. So it's interesting. Well, I guess the warrior deck could be considered aggro, but it's also reactive. So I don't know if I would call that like a true aggro deck when you're not trying to curve out. Hunter is I guess Hunter's aggressive, but yeah, it's cool that we have like a new rock paper scissors meta with a whole bunch of viable decks. I'm kind of surprised though that Paladin is at 49% on that overall. I don't think Paladin is good. I think Warlock is good, and Mage is good, and Priest is outstanding, and those are all really far low. I think that those must be down there because of the fact that we're grabbing the percentiles from the full spectrum of like ranking. But yeah, I'm actually kind of happy with the way it is right now. I think it's fun just to see a different matchup all the time.
So you said you don't know why Paladin is up there. So you played a bunch of Demon Hunter, of course. Playing against these Libram Paladins, are you actually still not having a problem with them?
No,
because I think that's like a good matchup for the Paladin.
Oh, I don't really have a problem with them usually. I mean, all you really have to do is remove their minions from the board as soon as possible. So against the Paladin, if you know how to do for the Mulligan, you just have to like keep the twin slices like against a mirror in the Demon Hunter. So if they do the 1-mana 1/3, you can like keep chaos strikes and stuff like that, so that you can just remove their stuff to avoid that +2/2 buff to the point where like you already have your glaives up, and then at that point you're done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Altruist just wins anyway, right? Like it doesn't matter what they play.
Yeah, because
for board of 10/10s, Altruist is like where.
He's a win con, and against that deck, he works really well for that too because they can't finish it. So if you need to stall and they get like early tempo and pull ahead in the beginning, you can just stockpile all your cards for like a really cheap cost in your hand off the skulls, and then just like knock them down all the way dead or almost in one turn. And that's like a good secondary approach to the matchup if you do lose the board in the beginning. You probably have to misplay, I would assume, or do bad in the mulligan with Tempo Demon Hunter to truly lose that matchup, even though it seems like it would be in favor of the Paladin because they heal.
I don't know. Maybe you're just a Demon Hunter expert.
Yeah.
It seems like Paladin is like pretty like that's like their matchup.
Yeah,
That's their only matchup.
Yeah, I played a lot of the Libram Paladin before and after the buffs, and when I see a Demon Hunter, you know, I get a little excited. I'm just like, all right, it should be all right. But again, you've played a large quantity of Demon Hunter, and I'm sure not everybody has done that, and you probably know the matchup very, very, very well.
I'm 100%
but I think
on that Libram deck right now. So with all of my Demon Hunter decks at this point. So I don't know. I don't know.
you need to start making some guides, man.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen, but
I think one of the things that's making Paladin not be as high on that list, and also just holding it back in general, is it doesn't really have blowout potential. Like all of the classes that are like number 1, 2, 3, and 4 have like cards in their deck that basically allow them, if drawn and played like on the proper turn, can just blow out a game and they can cheat a win. Rogue looking at Galakron, a bunch of 0 mana high quality cards, right? Hunter, Zephyrus on 2, Bran on 7 with a nice dragon curve in the middle. It's very hard to beat that, right? And then like Paladin, like what do you cheat? There's no cheating, right? You've got to play a card. If it lives, you buff it. And that's kind of like, it's like, you know what's going to happen, you know what it does, and there's no randomness to it, right? There's no big blowout there. It's just like, all right, that's what he did, and you know, I'll deal with it. So
I mean, you cheat the Librams out, like you cheat their
But
mana
they-
a little bit, but it's not
Yeah.
like a high impact card. Yeah.
yeah, you know exactly what the Libram does. It doesn't change. It's going to heal for 8 and summon an 8/8. It's not a box that sometimes kills your opponent immediately or sometimes kills you immediately. It's just like, you know what it does. You know what to expect, so you can either play around it or play into it sometimes to bait them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it doesn't do a lot of cheatingsness, which I guess is good because the Paladin's like a holy thing. So that's good they don't
It's just
cheat.
not random enough. Like, it doesn't have any enough like random stuff where it just
Exactly,
randomly wins
yeah.
the game randomly, like Priest or like not quite Demon Hunter, like Rogue or Mage. Like, if you don't have that random, how do you scam?
Yeah.
those scam potential games.
I mean, you have the Lightforge Crusader guy, but that's about it. And he's like very, very slow.
Yeah.
Like, compare
But
that to like Bran. I've got a true silver champion with a little body, and you've got like a 10-4, 10-12 that has charge, basically. That seems fair.
And you had to build your whole deck around it, and they still have Zephyrus and Alexstrasza and all kinds of stuff, and you get a nice little 4 mana 4/2 with a true silver.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit. But surprised at Priest there at the bottom. Are you seeing a lot of Priest Liquid at your high legend rank? Because I'm seeing a lot of it at lower legend ranks. Like we went against 5 Priests in a row yesterday. And
So what I'm surprised at is Warrior being 5th, because in my eyes, Warrior is still 1st. Like, the Warrior
Okay.
versus Highlander Hunter matchup seems very, very 50-50, and for a good Warrior player, I think the Warrior wins that, like, most of the time. Just, like, good Highlander Hunter players can, but that's a curve deck. Like, there's not as much you can do with a curve deck as you can do with a combo deck like Warrior. So, like, I'm surprised to see Warrior so low, because, like, the ranks I see, at least before nerfs, and still after nerfs, even they didn't really do much. Like, maybe the Bloodsworn's kind of relevant, but the Warrior is like tier 1 for sure. The Warrior is still the best deck in the game. So because of that,
Mhm.
I see a lot of Priests. I see like a lot of Priests trying to counter the Warriors.
Mhm.
But that's the main reason I see Priest. Like, whether Priest's matchups outside of Warrior are actually that good, like, I think it still loses to Demon Hunter. It's probably low because Highlander Hunter is so high. Or Hunter in general. We assume it's Highlander. But when Hunter's high, Priest is going to be low right now because it's like a 70% matchup for the Hunter. So, like, it's a cause and effect kind of thing, for sure.
and
yeah,
the Priest started.
And because the other 9 classes are high, Shaman is low. Shaman sucks.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, you need to, it's very meta dependent. You need to choose your deck around what you're playing against. And like, for me, like, I'm not even playing against like any priest, honestly. I play against like straight hunter like all day.
It's because you play mage.
Yeah, that's true.
Algorithm
It's actually hunter or quest warlock like every single matchup. And it's like, I can't really, it's like playing against 2 completely different decks, and like depending on, like, I don't think there's a deck that I can queue up with against both of those
Shaman.
that will do well.
Shaman, obviously. 44.5? It's insane.
I mean, hey, my big shaman has above a 55% win rate. So I'm
And the
just saying.
stats are still 44, and you're bringing the average up. and they're still doing that.
Yeah, one game at a time. I'm bringing that 44.5 up. I got like over 50 games played, and I'm sure that's all the games of Shaman played this season. So I'm bringing it up, baby.
It did go up 1% from last week.
That's me.
So
Mhm.
It's working.
I'm working hard. I'm working so hard.
I was thinking, like, if we start a movement and make everyone play Boulderfist Ogre, like, in every deck, can we get the played win rate of that card, like, right up at the top? If we make people just play it when they win. Can we make Ogre the best card in Hearthstone? By
To
stats.
Leroy
manipulate the
effect.
HS replay stats, and people think like, God, this card must be great because
Yeah.
people are doing awesome with it.
The most, like, high effort troll ever.
It's not them, it's the card.
Good stats for cost.
That would be a nice meme to pull on the community. They're like all the top streamers just like throw in like one really bad card in their deck all of a sudden, and then everybody, I guarantee you, would copy it immediately.
Tice did it, yeah. Like, yeah, if Tice did it, everyone would do it straight away. Like, you see Tice play like Silence Priest, and it's in the ladder the next day, just because influence works.
Or like No Hands Gamer too.
Yeah.
Nowadays, yeah.
Have
He's
you guys
he
ever
won
looked
2
at
games.
the HS replay stats of like a deck that you only play? Like you find like, so you've played like 100 games with this deck and no one else plays it. So you look at it to see what like the stats are like on the measurements of everything. Did you ever...
I'm a
I have
slave to
not.
the meta. I don't play new decks.
Well, I mean, if you like add like 2 or 3 tech cards to like a rogue list or something that no one else has in that complete sequence, and like those 500 games are yours. You know what I mean? It's like with the Boulder Fist Ogre version. Like
I've not actually looked at that. I might try and look at that actually.
I've
See who's
should look at
tried.
rogue.
I've tried to get like my Shaman list on there, my Highlander Shaman, but like you need, I think it is like 500 games, and I've probably played like 250 by myself, but it's still not there. I'm
when I was playing Scoundrel Demon Hunter before it was like more popular, there was like one time I played like hundreds of games with it, and one time I kept Metamorphosis in the and I against like what did I keep it for? I think I was playing like a priest or something really annoying, and I had a 1-2-3 and a Metamorphosis on the right. So I was like, whatever, I'll just keep this whole thing. And then it had Metamorphosis 100% in Mulligan win rate, like right at the top. Like I was like, oh my god, what is wrong with this? It says because it was only kept one time, but one. So
My Boulderfist Ogre Rogue's on HS replay with a 56% win rate.
dude,
With 260 games. No joke. It has a higher win rate than Shaman, Priest, than every. The Galacron Rogue with Ogre is on HS replay. I found it. Oh no! What have I done?
It's actually really that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Just because like whenever you're playing like one of the HS replay decks on stream, and people click on that deck and they go to streamers or streams or whatever, then they're just gonna see you up there, or they'll see like the highest legend games that were played with it recently, and it's good for traction. So some streamers actually just look up decks on HS replay even if they're not optimal, and they're just gonna play them just so they get on there.
I've screwed up the stats so hard. The played win rate goes Galacron, Kronks, Boulderfist Ogre. And it's the third highest played. Just can I link this?
Yeah. I'll pull it up. This is pretty funny.
Actually, what have I done? Well, I feel bad. Like what have I done?
I'm glad you checked this out. This is the funniest thing about your efforts here, man. Is that
Played win rate.
Ridiculous.
Boulder
stats.
Fist Ogre right here, 64.5%.
Insane.
Card's busted, actually.
Good stats for the cost.
Good stats for cost. It has 13 stats for 6 mana. It's not as if we have something with 11 stats for 3 mana in the game or anything.
You know, there's really not too many impact. Like, there's not too many great 6-drops in the game right now. So,
hey, TBK.
Oh, the Black Knight.
I was like working on it as well. We all try and like, huh? Yeah. It's like my gran when she tries to figure out text speech.
What have you been playing, Rob?
So that's a great question. I've been playing, obviously when the changes hit, I played a lot of Shaman and and the Paladin. And I found that the non-pure Libram Paladin with Mount Seller performed the best. I had like 50 games with both the Paladin and the Shaman. I got him above 60%, and surprisingly not that bad. The only bad matchup is Priest, just because of like Priest's ability to clear and the Shaman deck's ability to like, its only win condition is doing like the Dark Pharaoh, or not Dark Pharaoh. Is it Dark Pharaoh? The 10 mana dude? Yeah, no. It's the one that plays the spells from the hand, so you have the eye in the hand, and it costs a 10 mana, so you get like a bunch of big minions.
Phaeorus.
Yeah. So we played him in the deck, and obviously it's terrible against Priest, but everything else seemed to do really good because it has a ton of healing, a ton of field clear. You got Haggatha Schemes, you got Earthquakes, you got Lightning Storms, you got the new Elemental guy. So I mean, the Shaman was a ton of fun, and the Paladin also, it played like a mid-range / control deck, and then it was only weakness again was the Priest because of Silence, and then Mage because of Reno, but everything else felt pretty good. So those are the decks I've been grinding. I'm
like so scared to queue up with. I just don't want to queue up with the Paladin deck just because I know I'm gonna get Priest and it's gonna be awful.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Here, let me see if I have it real quick. So the I have 20 and 13, 61% with the Lib Paladin, and then the Shaman. We have the big boy Shaman. I guess 16 and 9. I delete the stats and redo them every day to get a fresh thing. But we were 64 with there, so.
I remember watching you queue
play.
into a Priest and instant concede with Libram Paladin, and that made me feel really good. Just like watching that happen. Like, nope.
Watching you suffer.
Yeah.
Well, I was just like, man, I'm not interested in a 30, 25-minute game where I'm probably gonna lose. I'm already at Legend. I've done the work. I don't care. It's time to play a different matchup.
Played the Priest Mirror?
That also is terrible.
It's awful. Like, did you see Zeddy queued the Priest Mirror against someone, and then just like they just did a random number generator to see who won, because like it's not worth playing out for 45 minutes for one random minion to just win the game. It's awful.
Yeah.
So, he literally his opponent said he said, do a random number generator. If it's 1, I'll concede, and if it's 2, you concede. And they did it, and like because they just didn't want to play it out.
I mean, that's about how it goes. I mean, it comes down to what, like, whoever gets the most thought steals or the quality of minion, and then it'll go to fatigue, and then it's basically the last 10 cards, whatever the highest qualities are. That's just it.
Pretty much.
If no one makes a mistake on the random like pinnacle turns that happen like 4 times in the game with like the cards and the boards and the what like clears you. So I honestly think that's probably the smartest way to do it. If you could tell every Priest mirror to just roll a dice like that and assume that they were going to play correctly, it would be worth it to me to not waste 40 minutes hoping that they make a misplay and I win not off of RNG. So
it's so bad for GM as well, because A, they have to play it. B, like their GM, it's for money, so they take ages on every turn. So they're like roping out all 30 turns. And like GM has like overrun time-wise so many times. Like yesterday, like overrun like hours just because of Priest Mirrors.
Just like this podcast, man. Every single time.
I might walk away for like 30 seconds, and I apologize, but I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, you're good.
Right.
So we've talked about Shaman, Priest, Paladin, Warrior. Is there anything else that we need to touch up on here that we have missed? I mean, I know Warlock's popping back up. Is that worth discussing? Like, whether it be the Quest Warlock that No Hands Gamer did, or the Galakron Warlock, I've seen a couple people dive into. I mean, is that something that we need to like watch for? Is that do we think that's a good deck again now? Because it was really popular and then it disappeared. It straight up disappeared, and now it's kind of coming back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Gala Warlock is still strong, but I don't think it's near what it was before. It's still like a solid deck. I just think this Quest Warlock that's been going around is the more prevalent one. It's just better. You have so much sustain. You have so much heal. You could always get to the late game and just assemble your combo pieces and win the game against like any freaking deck. I wonder how it does against Warrior. But besides that, I feel like Quest Warlock is kind of the nuts, and we've been seeing it a lot in GM, or not a lot, but a few GMs have been bringing it. It's just that's really like 50% of my matchups right now is Quest Warlock.
The reason Gallo like changed was like one thing. It used to beat Demon Hunter, and now it doesn't. That's it. That's literally sack packed. Like it used to beat Demon Hunter, now it doesn't, and that makes a deck go from being one of the most popular decks to not seeing play at all because of the Demon Hunter matchup. And like actually Zeus still exists even with the Scrap Imp nerf. Like my boy Dabs won a qualifier yesterday playing Zoo.
Okay.
Like yeah, he was playing Demon Hunter and Warrior as well, but he played Zoo. It's his third deck, and like guess it still pops off if you draw Scrap Imp on one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen a Zoo since the nerf.
I played
It's probably
one.
more of a tournament deck than a ladder deck for sure. Because with the Warrior ban, it's probably good.
Yeah, but the so the meta here, we have a lot of, we were talking about, we play, you see a lot of different classes being played right now, basically everything except for Shaman, which you still see a little Shaman here and there, but there's a lot of different decks being played, which is cool. It's good for the meta and everything, but now I think a lot of people are just tired of the new cards already, because this is the state that the expansion should have been released in with these changes. Like now, like this is like a good state for the game. But now that we've been playing with these cards for like almost 2 months now, and there's been like so many things that have been broken, I feel like everyone's just tired of it. But it's not like, I just wish we had this when they released it, because I think we would have been in such a better spot.
That's almost impossible.
Confused. Sorry, everyone's confused because like it's the first time we've had a balanced meta in so long, and everyone's like, "What's a balanced meta?" Like I've not seen one of these in months. Like confusion.
No, yeah, I mean, if
Demon Hunter perspective, that now you're not like the worst thing on the ladder, that everyone was targeting their decks. But
Jacob must love it. Everyone doesn't hate him anymore. I'm joking.
This has been great for me. You know, I still have the same win percentage, and people aren't mad at me now. This is awesome.
True.
No, yeah, I mean, D-Money mentioned the diversity is, I mean, huge. If you look on like, you know, what like decks are doing well, there's like almost a class or each class for like a tier 2. So like almost everything's covered between tier 2 and tier 3, and there's a class in there that if you like that class, you can find a deck that you can win with. And that's not always the case. And right now, for the most part, you know, give or take on Shaman, you can find a deck with any of the other 9 classes that'll win. And even Shaman, honestly, is, if you're good with it, you can make it work. I mean, yeah, I like this meta. Hey man, I made Shaman work. It works. I'm probably gonna play more of it today.
Honestly, Highlander Shaman, I've been playing a little bit. Cancelope made a cool Dragon Highlander Shaman list, and it's pretty good, honestly. It's just, again, against Priest, it's just,
yeah, I mean, it just out controls you. They just take your cards and you just get out controlled by your own deck. So yeah, I get it.
Like it takes you too long to get everything to build up like a big board, and then by the time you build it up, then they just have some way to deal with it, whether they got it from Renew or something else. I don't know. I mean, that could segue into the Renew that we want to talk about right now.
Yeah, we can segue into Renew, and then we'll grab the other one after this. So yeah, we actually Renew. I think we have 2 points.
Like our biggest offenders of the week or something. Like these are the worst, the most hated cards that we have submitted to talk about. I don't know, but Renew is perfect. It is perfect.
Yeah. So Draco, you seem very passionate about Renew. Was it you who brought this one up?
I think this one was actually Rob, right when he dialed into the call today. So he was
all right. Well, Warshack, let's hear what you got to say about this.
Okay, so, I mean, you guys were talking about Mog as an annoying card, which we'll cover a little bit, but I was like, all right, what's an annoying card that I see a lot on ladder? And one of it's like, one of the most tilting things is like, LiquidOx had almost bring it up simultaneously when we start talking about Renew, is when you can generate a card and then that card generates the same card again. So this even falls under Mage, like with Arcane Breath. They Arcane Breath into Arcane Breath into Arcane Breath. They renew into renew into renew. So they're not only are they healing a shit ton, They can end the healing with, let's say, like a Mind Control or another Spreading Plague or the legendary Priest spell. I mean, the quality of like the card that you can get off Renew, there's just a huge like variance, right? And then like it generating itself is a whole nother problem. So I just found it like this is basically an auto include into Priest, right? Like every Priest runs 2 Renews. It'd be like, why wouldn't you? And first of all, I don't like auto includes. I don't like cards generating themselves and doing infinite value things. And then like it's just a tilting card. Renew into a Mind Control. If you played like a Zephrys into a Tyrion, it's like, okay. They paid 1 mana, they healed, they take my Tyrion. Cool. So my rant is over.
That's true.
That always works too because they Fate Weaver the Renews, so they cost 0 and they can do it all in 1 turn.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah. That's the other card that makes it even more annoying with the Mind Control. I haven't had that done to me before. Imagine that would be severely tilting.
And because of the buffs, Priest spells are actually good now. Like you have 3 mana Shadow Madness, Shadow or Death at 2. Like Priest spells are actually good. So like it's not as if you're discovering trash like rogue spells most of the time. Like Priest spells are good.
Yeah, like even in my Highlander Priest, like I wanted to run 2 Renews just because like so much healing. You just, of course, you renew into a Renew. Everybody knows it's coming. Or yeah, it can just find you whatever you need. It's really, really good. I agree that you shouldn't be able to discover itself. It's kind of the same thing we were talking about before the podcast with like Arcane Breath. It's kind of stupid when you just get multiple instances of it. You're just basically high rolling, and it's like from the other side, it's like I can't do anything about this. Like you just shouldn't be able to just constantly get unlimited value out of a card. Like that's why they
for 1 mana.
It. Yes,
like
that's why they changed
1 mana.
Dragon Queen Alexstrasza to not getting itself, even though it gets itself from the explorers that it gives you. But still,
Renew we played it too. We played it because it's better than your hero power for 2, and you get to discover whatever you want to adapt. I think it like even at 2, it would be still like completely. I don't know.
You know what? Like really annoys me is like after Dr. Boom and after like all those old heroes, they were like Hagatha, Dr. Boom, they were like, right, we understand that infinite value is not fair, infinite value is not fun, no one likes playing against infinite value. Here's the Priest Galakrond. Like, what? How does that add up? I don't understand.
Yeah, Galakronds were kind of where things got a little iffy. Like you've played a lot of the Rogue Galakron. You know that drawing 0 mana cards is
Is that a 0 mana Kronk, deal 5 AoE to the whole board and make a 6/6 on turn 7? Don't mind if I do. Like we'll take it. It's 0 mana Shield, 0 mana Flick. Flick is nuts. 0 mana Ogre. Like it's not fair.
Ogre.
That's why its played rate is so high because you always get it off Galakron.
Oh. Can you imagine if in Dragon's expansion, if someone would have like told us like a glimpse into the future that Galakron Priest would have been like something we would talk about as being hyper annoying? I would have been like, no way. That's never going to be viable. Like they only have the resurrect mechanic. And yeah, I did not expect Priest to take the form it did today, which is like an even slower control variant than the past. And that's just crazy to me.
Well, from the start, it seemed very good. I mean, you do get like unlimited value, and like I would play it in the past against like Control Warrior, and I would just fatigue them pretty easily. Yeah. The thing that held it back was just the quality of minions that you get from it, and now that like the bad ones have rotated out and they've buffed some of the old ones and whatever, and added some good ones in there, like now it's just super good, mainly because of that. And then just the unlimited value is like kind of a bonus.
Priest and Shaman Galakrons just swapped. Like everyone Shaman, Galakron Shaman, and Shaman was the best class, and everyone hates Shaman. Yeah, me neither.
Like you can't do it twice though, because Shudderwalk rotated. So not only is the Galakron worse because of all the nerfs, but now you can't do a second round of 8/8s, which is insane. So
feels like Shaman's only way to win is your opponent losing. Like they don't actually have a way to win. They just win if their opponent loses. Like it's the design is so bad. Don't want to hate on the designers, but there is no way for a shaman to win games. The aggro isn't aggressive enough, and the control isn't control enough. If that makes sense.
Frost
No, yeah.
it was the worst. That was the most like over the top nerf for that for me. Honestly, it was like Frost Invoke going to like because now, I mean, you can't even use it to what is the word like tutor other spells now that the frog totem's gone. So I don't really get why that nerf wasn't reverted when they said they were going to unnerf a shaman card. Remember when that was like the news? They were going to unnerf a shaman card. I was hoping it was going to be Frost Invoke because that would give the class so much more viability. The 1 mana freeze and the 2/1 with rush is such a big deal. That for 2 is not anywhere near as powerful. And it was Sludge Slurper getting a 1 mana attack increase. What's that?
A 1 mana attack increase.
That's what the change was for Shaman. Like, we're going to unnerve some Shaman cards. Sludge Slurper's going to be a 2/1 again.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought they were going to touch the 6 mana 3/3 and just bring it back down to 5 again. Like, that makes the class more aggressive. But, yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, the buffs they put out last week as well did nothing. No one was like, oh, no, I can't play Shaman because 2 mana deal 8 damage isn't good enough. If only it was 1 mana deal 8 damage, then Shaman would be good. Like, no one said that. Like, it's the buffs were awful.
No. I was very happy about the buffs. It's just the other decks are still too strong. So
I like the nerfs being more subtle now, though, in general. Like, even though they're buffing things subtly, nerfing things subtly. Because I feel like if they hit things really hard with a hammer instead of doing it gradually over 3 nerfs this season, then, like, the class I play would probably not be good at all at this point. Like, if they were just like, you know what, Priestess of Fury is going to cost 8. Boom. Like, never play it again. And they're like, Sigil Runner, that's 2. You know, never played again. Like, all of the old style of nerfing would have, like, ruined the class that I've been playing, like, all the time. And I like that they've been, you know, failing at addressing the big problems, but doing subtle nerfs that have led towards the meta that we're at now, which is a little bit more even burst. But, yeah.
And then to go off on like the update cycle, like obviously they've never really updated the game like 3 times within a 1.5 month period. Do you guys think that's too much, or is that like where it should be at? Because in my opinion, I think the game should be updated once a month with like at least 5 to 10 card changes a month. Like whether they be slight buffs or slight nerfs on cards that literally see no play. Hey, like, well, hey, we really like the design of this card. It just sees literally no play. Let's tweak it a little bit. Let's see if we can get people to throw this in their meme deck. So it's even just like the slightest bit playable, right? And then stuff that seems a little bit too strong, you know, let's bring this down a little bit. And doing that like once a month would keep the meta fresh, in my opinion. But do you guys think that's too much, or is that, you know, what do you guys think?
That's a dream. That'd be awesome. No, I love that idea, Rob. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. As a competitive player, I'd love that. But the issue is like new players who log onto the game like once a month or like once a week, maybe. Like if everything's changing all the time, like it might be confusing for new players. Like if their deck that they liked, now you can't play it because it's changed a lot. But like I think it's good. I think for like 90% of the player base, consistent, often changes are good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would love for the I think LOR is actually doing that now. Legends of Runeterra. I think they do like 1 update a month, like containing multiple things. That's a great idea. But like I'm glad, not sponsored. I'm glad that like they basically had to do those 3 things in the month and a half because they messed up. That's how I look at it. So I think they had to do it, and I'm glad that they did it. But moving forward, yes, it would be nice to have like some kind of structure with the updates.
Yeah, I mean, because prior to this, the updates come like maybe once per expansion sometime-ish. So, yeah, I mean, I just hope they keep this sort of like transparency and update cycle moving forward, because it keeps things interesting. And with a card game, things can get stale pretty quick after the cards come out, you know, and things get refined. You got hundreds of thousands of players building these decks, and, you know, keeping everything like moving, even if it's a slight change, just a change is a change. So we can move on to the card that you guys had mentioned earlier to talk about. I don't remember who brought this up, but you can take the lead on it.
Yeah, I brought this one up. Moarg Artificer. So we see this a lot in Priest and in Quest Warlock. And when you play it with the priest, as a priest, you get like the double penance, like the double healing on the penance, so it becomes 6. And when you play it with Quest Warlock, you play with Nether Breath, and then you get 8. Or if you play 2 of them, you get 16. If you get the 2 Moargs out, you get it to get to 16, which is pretty insane. And you could actually get this to your hand with the Sense Demons now, which people have been playing. So I don't know. I feel like having just those 2 cards in your hand and healing for 8 for 4 mana is a little too much. But I don't know what they could do to this. This card just annoys me whenever I see it.
I think it's cool design. It's just annoying. Like the design is cool. Like it's nice because it works for both players as well. It's not your minions, so like they can AoE you more easily if you leave it up. So like in some ways it can be smart. Like it's like good design, but in other ways like it's so annoying. I would agree with that. Like getting Nether Breath for 8 is for 2, like 4 mana, deal 8, lifesteal 8. And you thought you were winning, and then they just dump 2 of these down and reno themselves back to full and deal 16. It hurts.
Yeah, when I first saw the card, I didn't think about the implications of spells that have lifesteal on it until I saw that used against me, and I realized that I played a game against Viper, and I was super stoked about it because I was kicking his butt the whole time, and I lost that game because he played 2 of those, and then Nether Breath, my Priestess of Fury, that I was right about to get lethal on for, and healed for, what does that do? It's 16 heal. Like that's insane. That is not fair. Like, and I didn't get to beat him that day, and that really hurt my feelings. And I agree with DmoneyGames on this. I think it's this card is really degenerate when it's used in control decks with lifesteal.
What would you do to it if you had to change it? If you had to nerf it, what would you do?
I mean, the
It would have
stats
to
don't
be-
matter.
Yeah, it
It's
would
the
have to
ability.
be something with like the way it interacts with lifesteal, I would think.
Or you could do it the Blizzard way.
Mana nerf?
Yes, mana nerf. Mana nerf it to like 4. You know, like make it like, I don't care if you increase the stat line on it. That's whatever. You know, make it a 4 mana. You know, 4/5 or a 4/6 or something. Whatever. That's crazy, right? But
4 mana 4/6.
yeah, no, thank you. No 4 mana 4/6. I don't want that. Maybe just like a 4 mana, 4/5, and it has that effect on it. I mean, you can give it more health though, because it does die to spells extra potently. So it does deserve to be slightly overstated, since it also is in its design extra vulnerable to a specific kind of card more than any other thing is.
It dies to backstab.
Yeah. Yeah. A 4/6 would still take a 4 mana backstab. So that would be
Fair.
Yeah, it would be okay. But yeah, I think I think this card should be mana nerfed. Like, I don't like the ability to play 2 of them and Nether Breath and like or Penance and just like completely like eradicate the rest of the game. Like I like getting like 15 to 16 to 20 chip damage in an aggro deck is a big deal. Like you're dedicating like your whole curve to this. And then,
yeah, that's why I'm saying like Nether Breath and Penance like should just be changed from like lifesteal to just you heal 4 if you have the dragon, or you heal 3 from Penance, but like the damage can be increased or something like that.
That
I
could
just
be
think,
yeah. So like deals
The
8,
healing
heals
is capped.
4.
yeah. That's
I
my
don't
thing.
see Blizzard doing that, but that would be like the best result, I guess, for everyone, is that they heal the same off of but do more damage. But I feel
Isn't
like
Holy Nova like that? Isn't Holy Nova's
Yes.
healing capped at 2, but its damage is uncapped?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Holy Nova
If they
treatment.
did that, would you cut it? Like, do you cut it or do you still run it?
I mean, I don't play this card. It's ugly. That's my problem with this card. I don't play this card because it's an ugly ass card. It is one of the ugliest things I think I've ever seen. So I don't play this card in any of my decks. I've never put it in there, and I'm not interested in putting it in there. I don't care if it's good. I ain't playing it.
I really
I
like the
respect
lack
that.
of logic to that. The lack of there being any reason other than it being ugly really makes me appreciate Rob's very opinionated stance on this.
I mean,
I respect it as a gold card player. All right, I definitely respect that. I do think this card's pretty ugly. I don't think I have this card golden, and I have a lot of cards gold. So
he's
Warshack just
ugly,
out
dude.
here running Succubus in every deck.
Are you assuming something, sir?
Bell Stalker, I mean, sorry, got changed.
Oh man, that Twitch comment is just you, Rob. Picky with your cards as you are with women, man.
Hey man, I ran Secret Keeper in a lot of my decks. I like that card. And they nerfed it.
Visually nerfed.
No, yeah, I can't play the card anymore. It lost its appeal. Anyway.
That's the only reason I run Ogre. Because, like, Ogre...
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, okay. Ox is out here making the big moves.
I think this card might still be played just because like Dark Skies with it is a big clear. Rain of Fire is still decent, like against Spell Druid, right? It's probably still good, but yeah, it's nowhere near the power level.
Agreed.
I
Okay.
love how we're like out here talking about like what cards Rob likes to look at, and then D-Money's just trying to like safe it, like bring it back to the card, like change the subject back to the safe. Like, back to more.
He reeled it back in.
Just wanted to close out that point there.
All right,
yeah,
well, we're at 50 minutes. We can move to Q&A unless there's like another topic that we wanted to discuss or anything that you guys think we had missed for today. I mean, we covered the meta, we covered some annoying cards.
Yeah, there really hasn't been too much as far as like news or drama going around for the Hearthstone community. So I think I'm good to go into the Q&A.
One of the news things that people are complaining about is what you guys were talking about earlier in August, and you guys were talking about the ways to qualify for Masters, and a lot of people that want to compete in Hearthstone have been complaining about how difficult it is to get into a Masters qualifier from all of the various methods, and how it doesn't really truly reward consistency the way it should. And that's something I think I would hope to see reworked. I imagine that would be very important for the two of you guys that are, part of the competitive circuit at this point, is that the community is kind of outraged about the difficulty to get into the Masters events with, hardcore players that do play this game forever all the time and not being within reach amongst that. How do you guys feel about that? I just want to know. I'm just curious.
No, yeah, good question.
I'll leave this up to Mr. Top 20 qualifier win rate and see what he thinks about
it.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I've never qualified. Like, I'm not part of a circuit. I've never qualified for a Masters tournament. But Board Control had released stats for last Masters Tour qualifier win rates for the Sweden Masters Tour, and he said that maybe they should open up more slots for the Masters tournament and choose from like the top win rate people in these qualifiers that didn't qualify. And I was number 19 on that list, so I'm not opposed. But yeah, it is quite hard to get in, but I also like that it's hard to get into the Masters tournament. I think that should be that way.
Just so everyone in chat understands, what was Board Control's proposing exactly? He was saying that the 20 people that are where should qualify?
No, he was saying that they should open up more slots for the Masters tournament to people that had like the highest win rates in these qualifier tournaments to qualify for the Masters tournament. And I was one of those people. He didn't say like a specific number, but people were complaining that there should be some more slots for the Masters tournament because they are making these qualifiers. They actually doubled the amount of people that can enter the qualifiers from 500 to 1,000. So now there's an extra round as well. And it's just like more grinding overall. So it does make sense that they would add more slots. And if they want to go by win rate, I would love that. Personally.
But basically, like, you have to, so you could lose first round every cup you play, and then play one cup and win 10 rounds in a row, and you just qualify. So you just need to win 1 cup. Like, there isn't really a reward for consistency other than 5 top 8s. But to get top 8, you need to get to like round 8 or something. And getting to round 8 5 times is a lot harder than winning once. So
Yeah.
like, it's insanely
Wow.
hard. It's best of 3, so it's super like inconsistent. You get high rolled 2 games. Like, you guys know how easy it is to get high rolled 2 games on ladder. Like, you get high rolled two times in the 9th round, and that's 7 hours of your day with no reward except like 10 packs. It's brutal.
Yeah, I made it to the finals one time, and the guy got Shutterwalk off of Dragon's Horde, and I lost the game because of that. And it was just like, it was so heartbreaking. And then I had to start over, and I didn't even qualify. I had like 4 out of 5 top 8s, grinding for so long, and I get nothing out of it. And board control shows me like number 19 on the win rate thing, and like, that's really cool, but I don't get anything for this at all.
No, yeah.
Except for,
So
like,
number
a
19
few
out of
packs.
how many players?
Hundreds.
Thousands.
Thousands, yeah.
There's
I mean,
a
that's-
1,000 on each region every day. There's thousands that try, like, and 1 gets rewarded a spot per cup.
Yeah, and if you were the 19th person with the top win rate out of those thousands of people, I definitely think that puts you in the perspective of like, you should be playing against the best Hearthstone in these kind of tournaments. Because if you were able to win a Masters qualifier with an entry like that, that would stand more. That would speak more about your skill and your ability than your ability to obtain like multiple top 8s. I agree with that.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Especially since they added the extra round, it's even harder to get top 8s. So many people are stuck at like 4 top 8s, especially for this one since they added the extra round. So many people like Orange, I think Avalon's stuck at 4 top 8s as well, and they just can't get the last one. Whereas there's one dude somewhere who brought the right lineup on the right day and high rolled 10 rounds, and he qualifies instead.
Yeah, I mean, the casters talk about player consistency. Every time I've ever tuned into any Hearthstone tournament ever, and whenever they discuss like player stats and player how long this guy's been playing, how many tournaments he won, they always bring up consistency. And it'd be weird that they wouldn't implement some sort of player consistency in how they pick the players playing in the tournaments to show how consistent they are. There's like a disconnect there, right? So, yeah, I mean, this year they recently changed how they do tournaments. I feel like every year they change how the tournament format is and what it is to get involved. So maybe next year, fresh year, they'll implement a new system that kind of rewards players like DMoney who have high consistency of, hey, I win more than I lose. Can I please show that I'm good enough? Can I get up on the big stage? I'm a big boy. So. But for players like me, it doesn't matter. Give me Shaman. Give me Shaman.
Shaman.
But yeah, if you guys have any questions, fire them off in the chat, and we'll pick some, and we'll hopefully answer them. So whether it's directed at anyone individually or just in general, we have a few extra
absolutely.
minutes.
I really like talking about the tournament stuff. I find it interesting. I'm not involved in it at all, but I always find qualifying, Masters Tour, all that kind of stuff behind it is a good conversation.
I love it as well. Even though I don't compete in it, my fiance and I, we watch it every weekend. It's like a part of our life. We turn on the Grandmasters every week, and she's like a big fan of the Tyler celebrations now.
Yeah. I've been seeing those on Twitter. They're great.
Yeah, so every time Tyler's playing, she gets pretty stoked about that because she wants him to win so she can see something sick at the end of it, and that's great. It's a great thing to have going on during the background.
Did you see the mom dab?
That was so
I
great.
did.
Copied you. Did that first.
Yeah, I did that first on my stream. Yeah, but I'm not a grandmaster, so I couldn't show it off on the big screen. Unfortunately,
Not that anyone's watching on YouTube anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Pew,
It gets
pew,
more
pew,
traction.
pew,
It gets
pew.
more views on like Twitter than freaking YouTube.
I watched
Every
someone
time-
ask Ox this week, "What's the easiest way to become a grandmaster?" I thought that was a shit. I was like,
Oh my
I don't
God.
think there's an easy way to do that.
It's literally
What's an
impossible.
Hey man, what's the easiest
that's like
way to
such a-
become the
It's such a disrespectful question, in my opinion. Like, what's the easiest way to become the best? It's like, dude, it's not easy. If you think it's easy, it's because I make it look easy because I'm that damn good, all right?
they were probably a little, what is the word, out of the know, right? Like, I would assume that they weren't just being disrespectful. They were just confused and didn't understand, like, the amount of effort that went into
No.
becoming.
No, they're being ugly like Artificer.
It's so hard to even qualify for a tournament. Like, never mind, like, win that tournament. Like, it's almost impossible just to get there in the first place. Like, becoming a GM is, especially because I'm from Europe, like, maybe NA it's a bit easier. Because, like, you finish 12th at one tournament and then you're a GM. But, like, for EU, they win them all. Like, for me, it's
Okay.
harder. Hard server.
Yeah. You should see some of the games I have on EU. They're just so easy. maybe that's how you got to Legend in 3.5 days. Was that on EU?
Oh my!
That was on EU. That's true.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Even more impressive.
That hidden
there
MMR.
hasn't been any news about the new game mode or the solo adventure.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope that we hear about that this week. I assume the card back will look really perfect for a person who plays Demon Hunter every day.
Yeah, I think this is like coming up to the halfway point in the expansion, right?
Yeah, I don't think
like-
there's new cards though, like there was in
not?
Galakrons.
I heard in the next expansion they're actually releasing a new class. It's called Shaman. Yeah. Excited
It should
for
be
that.
good. Yeah, that should be really exciting.
There's a question here. Do you guys think that they should do a wild Grandmasters kind of thing?
That would be so fun to watch. I don't know if it should be held to the same caliber of grandeur. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There should still be something though. I feel like the wild community are always asking for stuff and Blizzard just pretends they don't exist.
No,
Like-
yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
I
like
played a lot
they
of
really
wild.
just
but
don't care about them enough.
I would definitely try it. Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, like, especially now with everybody being home and everybody like watching Netflix and Hulu, you'd think that they would be like, all right, wild players, you know, we've got some extra time on our hands. Let's make a little wild tournament for you guys. You know what I mean? Just like give wild something, because nobody takes it seriously, because why should they? There's no money there, right? You want to go to Grandmasters for standard because there's money to be made. You get on the big screen, you get, you know what I mean? There's like things that you can obtain. There's items worth value, but like people playing value, it's all intangible. There's nothing that you could, like it possibly could give you. Even if you're the best wild player, rank 1 every month, you literally get nothing. So
I mean, maybe they're trying to say that wild is not competitive.
then why even have it in there? Why give it a rank? Why do anything? Like that you shouldn't have a ranked mode and only care. Like, I'm not saying they should give it to the same caliber as standard, but make it do something different that's fun. You know what I mean? Have some sort of reward. So players, like, what was it? I believe like a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago, they had like, if you were like top 200 in wild 1 month, you got entered into this tournament. Does anybody remember that? And then the tournament was like worth like $10,000 or something. And then all of a sudden wild was super popular for about a month and a half and people cared about it. And yeah, that was really fun. It was different. It was fun. It was cool. It wasn't a big $10,000 to Blizzard, fucking nothing. Like that's literally like pocket garbage. It's what they buy Starbucks with in the morning. So I don't know. I just wish they would do more stuff like that.
They probably have to care about the balance more than they want to pay people on their balance team payroll for. Like so many cards in wild to have to be attentive to, you know? So like if they're like, oh man, what is wrong with Seeker Mage? Why is Seeker Mage so powerful? Is it because of the fact that they can play a free 0/5/5? Maybe. Is it because they can play a whole bunch of spells that kill your minions before you put them on the board? Well, how do you balance stuff? Do you make the secret?
Well, you don't.
Forward?
You don't balance wild. You just it's wild for a reason, right? It's supposed to be crazy. All the decks are. It's like Halo 2 weapons. All the weapons are crazy good, so everybody can just kill everybody with everything at any point in time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point.
Everyone's gonna bring Q Block, Quest Mage, an odd Demon Hunter, and then their like secondary deck would be Jade Druid. That would be just like the whole thing with Togwaggle maybe at the end of it to like make some kind of
I love me
ridiculous
some
shit.
Tog.
Somebody in chat is saying that they're talking about the Solemn tournament. Solemn just held a wild tournament recently, and He said there were multiple hour-long Dead Man's Hand Warrior mirror matchups.
Okay.
So,
All right. Maybe wild isn't a good idea. All right. So we're not
Yeah.
gonna do wild anymore, guys. So we're just gonna y'all. All right. So we didn't ruin this. Our ideas are great. You guys who played this Dead Man's Hand hour long, you guys ruined this. So let's just let you know you guys ruined it.
The deck is so bad though on actual wild ladder. You know what I mean? Like you queue into like one quest mage, it's done. But anything else, like that, if you queue into a mirror with that or something, it'll go forever. But that deck is not good. That's funny. That's someone you could probably bring it with the band structure. You can make a Dead Man's Hand warrior deck like somehow fit in your lineup, and that's terrifying.
It's kind of like Priest and Standard, right? Everyone hates the mirrors and everyone hates playing it, but it's technically 9th on the power rankings, right? Like, it's not actually as good as people think. They just think it's nuts because they hate it. Like, if you hate something in your head, you think it's great.
But
Like,
yeah,
power-wise.
I mean, the feeling of hate is much stronger than a lot of other emotions, right? So when you see it, you just get that like, oh man, one of those, right? And then even if like you beat it, you're still like, ugh, fuck that guy.
Is that what happens to you when you see Moag Artificer? Are you just like,
you
so
know,
mad,
let's
so
not talk
ugly?
about that, man. It's so ugly. Like, it's not as ugly as Priest though, so
It's true.
it's pretty bad. All right, well, we're about at time. We're at the hour mark. So if we want to do our wrap ups, of course, we're gonna say thank you for LiquidOx for joining us this podcast. It was wonderful having you. Thanks for a little backstory into yourself, your tournament, and all that good stuff. It was a pleasure having you.
No, thanks for having me. I enjoyed talking about Hearthstone. Now I'm gonna go play more Hearthstone. I need to get life. Thanks for having me, though.
Check out LiquidOx, guys. He's super incredible at playing. If you want to get better, so.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have me and LiquidOx have like this. We have something special coming. Just saying. I can't talk about it much, but just know that we're involved in something. Not Kappa Pride.
Glad you clarified.
Oh, that's good.
I needed that clarification, honestly. Are you gonna give any more details, or is it just like a cliffhanger that you're leaving at the end of the Metabreakers?
No, yeah, I don't know if I should have even brought it up. There's really no details I could say about it, but something very cool and exciting is happening soon. But yeah, it was nice having you on the show. It's always fun when we have guests here. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, 10th episode. It's been 10 already. That's a lot. That's my lucky number too, so it means a lot to me. Yeah.
It's a holiday weekend, even though it might not feel like it because we're all quarantined because of pandemic. But make sure to go out tomorrow on your Memorial Day and barbecues, hang out with your fam, do something normal.
Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. Stay safe.
All right, guys. I'll catch you later, and thanks again. Later,
Have a good
Gators.
one.
Thanks.